Ladies, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there's one thing I know, that these cobwebs have been here since the dawn of God dang Rant Wednesday, and they're going to stay up here until we become consistent enough that we can afford to clean them up.
You are dirty.
And what I'm saying is, I appreciate every single one of y'all watching, from your break room to your bathroom to your penitentiary cell, because I done got a couple of DMs from some correctional facilities saying, hey bro, your videos keep me motivated, keep it up, big dog. And if a dude can get a phone into a lockdown facility and watch me talk about nonsense, then I can deliver nonsense to you for at least once a week. With that being said, thank you. You came back. Virtual hug. This is something that's been on my mind for some time now. My homie asked me the other day, Gary, why do you think the car scene is dying? And I sat there and I gave him a logical answer that sounded something like this. The reason the car scene is dying is because kids don't want to try anymore. Kids think they can reach this level of fame where they can just get anything handed to them, which is not the case. And I'll explain it like this. Every meet that I've gone to in the last 3 years feels like I'm really at a parking lot dealership. And what I mean by that, it'd be all the same cars with no creative imagination, all the same modifications, all the same body kits, all the same fuckboy haircuts. There's no creative imagination. I remember back in my day, and I'm gonna sound old, you could just show up to the car meet literally after working on your car all day, musty as hell, and people would come walk up to you and ask you, man, what did you do to this car? Even if it was a shitbox. I remember back in the day, I went to a meet with a dude with a turbo Scion TC. You know how dedicated you gotta be to turbo a Scion TC, make it like 350 horsepower and brag about that. And it wasn't even that the person bragged about it. It was the fact that we all stood there and appreciated this man's work. It was a Scion TC with a turbo that was quality. The body was musty, crusty, and dusty as hell, but that engine bay was immaculate. And he had one of them cool ass back in the day Turbonetics turbos that was chrome, oh, and shiny. Let me stop. He polished everything up, and that man turned it on. And this was before two-step was a big thing, and he took pride in his build. And a lot of you kids don't take pride in what you do. You think you watch these 20-minute videos on how to make your whatever car you bought from the dealership 1,000 horsepower, then you do it, then you break it, you cry, and then you're like, why did I get this car? Instead of sucking it the fuck up and just fixing it, swapping out the engine, and just putting back in the same work. There's no effort anymore. It's like all you kids just want everything handed to you. And then the other side of that is you kids show up to these car meets with your name on your car, expecting everybody to follow you, which is great promotion for yourself. I'm sure John _ Scatman _ Daddy Maximus 32, you want everybody to follow you. First of all, that is a long-ass, goofy-ass name. And a lot of you know you have a long-ass, goofy-ass name. That's not even easy to roll off the tongue. How am I supposed to follow you? You got 12 underscores, a semicolon, and a goddamn tilde above that shit. I don't even know how to use a tilde. But till then, I'll learn how to use it one day. But I'm not going to learn how to use it on you. I'm going to learn it when I go to goddamn Mexico or something. But the point of this conversation is that even for you ladies, I understand being in the car scene, you feel intimidated sometimes. You seek comfort in other women to see like, hey, you know what? I met this girl at a car meet. She seems pretty cool. And then she turns out to be the total opposite of what you want. You hang out with these girls that talk shit about you all day, smile in your fucking face, stab you in the back, and then be like, oh, you a hoe. But then she turn around and buy a new car for Clout to support on her OnlyFans and be like, hey, come look at me. And I'm like, bro, this is the most hypocritical thing I ever seen in my life. And what I'm saying is what y'all really need to do, and I'm about to put my foot out your ass, is just put in a little bit of fucking effort. Learn about your car. Learn about what it's going to do. Learn about the capabilities. Instead of saying, and we all are guilty of this, man. I heard John's brother's best friend's sister's ex-boyfriend's best friend's dad has a 3,000 horsepower Scat Pack. I'm sure he does. His friend has a 3,000 horsepower GTR. It sure does. But do you know what it takes? Do you know what it takes to make 4-digit horsepower consistently? And this is the problem that I have with a lot of kids. They want to get to 1,000 horsepower, but they don't want to maintain 1,000 horsepower. 1,000 horsepower seems so trivial now, where you watch Texas 2K and you see motherfuckers with damn near 5,000 horsepower. But what you don't see is the effort they put in to get there. I have a friend named Sana. She put in a lot of effort, trials and tribulations, years and years and years to get to Texas 2K, and she showed out and did her thing. Granted, she has a GTR. GTRs aren't cheap, and I'm not saying everybody can afford these cars, but what I'm saying is everybody can afford to get a wrench. Everybody can afford to get the internet, and there's one thing you can afford to do is read. So if you have those three common basic skills, you should be able to turn a wrench, read a manual, and learn something about your fellow car and learn about your fellow person. I'm not saying go to car meets and learn everybody there, but it felt like back in the day, the car meet was a vibe. Like you showed up, y'all all talked about cars, y'all looked about cars. Nowadays, I go to a car meet, all y'all want to do is stand by your cars, flick your goofy ass haircut, whether it be an Edgar or you have the freaking Crow from fucking, what's his name? What's his name, Tommy? God dang, Brandon Lee. You got the Crow fit, or you just want to sit there and be depressed all day. I'm not making fun of people with depression. I'm making fun of kids who don't put in the effort. Y'all pretend to have these illnesses and y'all really don't. I'll be seeing y'all one day, Sad Boys Club. The next day, y'all be happy and giggling and smoking your tweeds and popping your perk 30s and jumping around and he. Maybe if you laid off the narcotics and laid on the goddamn nuts and bolts, you'd be a better person. Maybe if you learn social skills and talk to the person standing there instead of being on the fucking phone when somebody's trying to tell you something about your goddamn car, you'd be a little bit better. Maybe if you socially interacted with a woman instead of looking at her and DMing her from a fucking phone, you'd be a little bit better person. It just takes those little interactions. So let me put it like this to you, kids. There's a lot of factors that the car scene is dying. Maybe the internet has done it. Maybe influencers have taught you maybe it's easier than it really is when it's not. Maybe it's these companies shoving these brand new cars down your throat with high interest rates when you have low credit that you can barely afford these cars. That maybe that's the case. Or maybe it's none of those and you just simply wanted to get a car because you wanted to get a car. I'm not judging you, but what you think about is, how can I be a better person than I was yesterday? Whether that be going to the local car meets, even you takeover kids, I'm not giving you any props. But what I'm saying is each video that I watch, I notice there's a little bit of gleam in your eyes. If you just took that to the track, I know you could be better. I know you could do some real damage because you've already proven it to your homies. Imagine you link a course and then you could give people ride-alongs and then somebody's like, hey, I want to sponsor you to do this. And you're like, you're telling me you give me tires just to show up to the track and pay me a little bit of money to get to the track to be a better person? Now you've developed semi-racing program and you got a couple of your homies who believe in you. You got a homie with a truck and a trailer. You got a homie who can cook and you got a homie who can fill up a cooler, and they're all there to support you and root you on instead of the local law enforcement impounding your car for 30 days, which will cost triple the price of any track day. And now you got to explain to your bank you can't afford to get the car out the impound. And now a sucker like me comes up to the auction. I don't give a fuck who you owe on the car. I'm buying your car. That's what? Your problem. And it's as easy as that. Kids, just go out and have fun and learn something. It seems a lot of you aren't having fun. You rather just stay on the phone and talk about shit instead of being about the shit. Till then, have a great day. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. You was a real one. Stay black.